Queers doing I Enjoy Being a Boy, which you say is a cover of a Banana Splits tune.
Yeah, absolutely. The Queer's also notable. Joe Queer is the singer. He's been the only mainstay throughout the band's 25-year history. They've had 28 other members, including Wimpy, who played drums 82 to 84, Metal Murph Cretin, who played guitar in 96, Lurch Nobody, who drummed in 2001.
Is that the Lurch Nobody?
It is. Jeff Useless on bass in 98, and Chris Cougar Concentration Camp, who played bass in 1998.
And I have to say that for a kind of novelty band, it seemed like a surprisingly kind of honest version. You know,
Yeah,
they
it
just
was
went for it. I say honest version, I don't know what the original was like.
Yeah,
Did the Banana Splits write their own material, or was that done for them?
I think they did. Apparently They Might Be Giants do a version of that as well, but I've not heard it, and it can't be better than that.
Sammy, are we talking nonsense when we mention the Banana Splits? Does that mean anything to young tykes like you?
Am I going to really put my foot in it here by thinking the Banana Splits are the ones that had the costumes?
That's right.
Oh, thank goodness for that. I thought it was something else.
It's
No,
like
I
coming
know
on
they
a
are, yeah, that's fine.
big car and
And they
just...
had the glasses, and one looked a bit like the Snuffleupagus from...
That's right.
Yeah, Sesame
Yeah,
Street.
that was the Splits for you, right there. Well
They're
done.
quite good.
Were they on when you were watching TV?
I think they were
Saturday
doing
mornings?
kind of like replays on a Sunday morning
Right.
with good old episodes of Grey and Chill, with
Yeah.
children dying in toilets and things. But yes, I can vaguely remember it.
Children dying in toilets and things.
Didn't someone die? Was it a cupboard? Yeah.
Zama, I don't know if he died though. Did he? Didn't he just? He was just off his head. Did he die? I can't remember.
No, he looked like he did.
All right, that's what stuck in my
I
mind.
died in the car, hanging out the car.
And someone drowned in the swimming pool. Someone did die. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you're just having your own conversation, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. But one of you's not even got a microphone, so maybe we should do that during the records. We're racing towards the news of. Recommended this to me. I can't tell you if it's good or bad, except that she's giving it the thumbs up.
It's amazing.
Is it really amazing?
And a listener thinks so too.
Okay, well, if a listener thinks so too, then it must be good. Of Montreal and the track Suffer for Fashion. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah. Doesn't that still sound amazing? It never ceases to amaze me that in 1991, the KLF were the biggest selling singles act in the world. And nowadays, who's making music as interesting as that? That's also selling loads of records. I don't know who it is. Maybe you can text in on 64846. But Harry, I mean, I don't have to tell you because you were always a massive KLF fan.
I had an unhealthy obsession with the KLF. I used to go to record fairs and buy, obscure 200 only 12-inch vinyls for like 45 quid because I was an idiot.
And you didn't even have a record player, as I remember. Everything was on CD, wasn't it?
No, it took me 5 years after building up my collection to actually hear any of it. Because I refused to play it on my dad's record deck because it was too old and I thought it'd ruin the records.
Yeah, of course.
So I waited until I could afford a really good record deck, then I listened to it all. So,
nerd!
Don't really like him anymore.
Yeah. But of course, for those that don't know, obviously the KLF no longer exists. You can't even buy their records now, can you? They're all deleted.
No, it's all been deleted.
It's all been deleted. And did you ever see the documentary where they burnt 1 million
That
quid?
was fantastic.
Amazing, wasn't it? And I still to this day I don't know. Did they burn 1 million or did they not?
Yeah, they did.
I mean, everyone says yes, like they confidently know because they're all mates with Colty and Drummond. Well, you don't know, do you, for certain? It could have been a joke. That's what I'm saying. They were always doing pranks and hijinks, weren't they? Who knows? Who knows if that was a real million? Jude there winks at me like she's some kind of musical soothsayer and knows such things. But Sammy, were you a KLF fan? Is this? Because my dream is that there's a listener out there who's never heard them before and just thinks, wow, what's that? Is it something by the Chemical Boys? No, it's not.
Never heard them before.
Have you never heard them before?
I was 7 in 1991.
Have you genuinely never heard them before?
Never heard them
Is that the
before.
first time you've ever heard that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I really was quite enjoying it, to be
Did you not
honest
think
with
that was
And
amazing?
as soon as you said, everything's been deleted, I kind of slumped in my chair and went, oh, well, never mind.
Come and see me, I've got some records.
Oh, that was a little sinister, I'll be honest with you.
It's so exciting to think that we've just introduced the KLF to you. And you must have thought that was great.
It was
Do you know
great,
what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, well, that's exactly what this show is all about. And
Wing
I'm
that
very,
my
very,
way home.
I'm very, very pleased with myself. It's a Steve Show, BBC Six Music. Welcome back. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the news and the KLF. And we were asking earlier for your Glastonbury horror stories because, as I say, we felt that we didn't really fully experience it, spending most of our time in the VIP section. And we were wondering whether you'd had sort of grim, exciting adventures whilst there. Harry, anything coming in through on the text or the email?
Yeah, Amy's sent in, just a huge story, really. I'll try and pick out the best pieces. They basically waited 12 hours in a field to get out. The cars just weren't moving at all. They got no food. So two enterprising scousers. It's always scousers. They're providing public services. They turned up in a van, opened up the back and started selling food. So she queued up for food. burgers sold out, sausages sold out, bacon sold out. As she was getting to the front, it was just egg sandwiches. Then the bread ran out. So the girl in front of her had a fried egg on a paper napkin, which burnt her hand. So she said, I'm not having this. So they fished about in the back of the van and they got a section of egg box and served her a fried egg on a piece of litter, effectively, for £3.
Wow. Brilliant. She ate almost as badly as that badger that Sammy was talking about earlier on. He at least had a boiled egg. Man alive, that's grim. 12 hours, no food. Sammy, you've got something as well?
Nigel in Somerset. His wife got hit full in the face by a muddy frisbee, and he thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that's a strong relationship.
And Alice says, well, he's got a leak, which is sad, on the Friday, which is really early on, and she had to buy a new pair. Rock and roll, Alice.
Yes. Now, of course, I always recall, because you told us about your misadventures in Glastonbury, Harry, before. But what you neglected to mention was the urinating in the bottle element.
Yeah, I did. Well, the thing was, I'd had an awful lot of pear cider that evening because it was a beautiful night on the Thursday.
I should point out, this is a couple of years ago when it was particularly grim, not this year. He refused to go in a tent this year.
Thought, oh, hello, I know what I'll do. I'll go to the gents before I go to bed because you don't want to get up in the middle of the night and need to go because as you get older, your bladder weakens, as you well know.
Oh, tell me about it.
So, I was fine. Woke up when, the biblical storms hit at about 4 a.m, and, I'd had a lot of cider, and I was thinking, I'm going to need to go in a minute. The rain didn't stop. I managed to hold on till about 9 a.m. when it was still just coming down sideways, and I was in absolute agony, and it got to the point where I wouldn't have been able to walk to the toilets because it just hurt so much. And all I'd got that was usable were some Evian bottles. I bought like 6 little bottles of Evian to sip, and one of them was empty.
I should point out there are other brands of water available.
So I started making use of this empty bottle. It soon became blindingly apparent in a kind of Dumb and Dumber style that this wasn't going to be sufficient. So I kind of manoeuvred myself and undid the top of the second bottle with my teeth, inched my way to the door of the tent, and was emptying one bottle out of the door as I was filling the other one. Luckily just made it in time, switched, only a few drops hit the floor.
Sure.
And then had 2 bottles out to dispose of.
Oh, well, I'd like to I trust you through that at a band. It's a particularly inappropriate moment.
I left before any bands came on, so I didn't even have the chance.
I'd like to see that as some kind of Olympic sport. That'd be fantastic. I think I'd do well at that. You know what my bladder's like.
I'd like to point out that he did all the actions there as I sat next to him. He really did mime that. That was amazing.
But it was just, going to the toilet while the sheer panic of the situation and undoing the other bottle with my I've never been that resourceful in my life.
No, I know.
I ever will be again.
Absolutely not. Well, as I say, I've never noticed it before. I've never seen it. Never seen it. Well, yes, keep them coming in. Stephen.6music@bbc.co.uk. 64046, your horror stories from Glastonbury, and if there are any that tickle us, then maybe we'll pass them on. We will come to Vic Sharma and his Troll of the Web after Emmylou Harris. From her 2003 album Stumble Into Grace, that's Emmylou Harris, and Here I Am. It's the Steve Show, BBC 6 Music. With me, Stephen Merchant, also Harry here, and Sammy. And obviously, we've talked about it in the past, but I don't really know my blogs from my Facebook. So I have been poked a few times, apparently, but I don't know what that means, and I've not responded. That's what they call it, isn't it? Poking? Prodding? Is it prodding? Poking,
yeah.
And so, yes, I find the whole internet world terrifying and mysterious, rather like the island from Lost. And I don't venture into it. So, obviously, I'm embarrassed because I know that the modern music fan now is trawling the web for their music and so on. So therefore I brought in a man who knows about such things. Please welcome our internet guru Vic Sharma. Well, a round of applause for him and Steve Wrightstar. And I would hope that you've been sourcing sounds from cyberspace.
I have, very much so, yeah. I thought that I'd share some of my online resources.
Okay.
And the first one that I want to talk about is called Paper Thin Walls.
Right.
And this is a Canadian-based music community, and it's often edited by people like Lavender Diamond, bands like Lavender Diamond, and Jenny Lewis of
Oh, you know how much I adore Jenny.
Which I believe, yes, you are a lover of Rilo's work. Now, what happens is that you register, and you have the opportunity to stream or download and listen to music that have been championed by these guest editors, and then you get to vote on it. So it's very much like the kind of show that you have here, except without the kind of voting mechanism.
Sure.
It's a kind of, dare I say, a step forward from that in the terms of that it allows the community to kind of like fully interact with music.
I don't obviously I don't want to fully interact with my community. You know, heaven forbid. I met a lot of them at Glastonbury. I don't want to see that they're like again.
I think you've already established you want your own road.
Exactly.
Your own footpath.
I'm not a total democrat in that respect. I'm like a sort of benign dictator.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
I've always liked that. And like I said, it's kind of Canadian, so a lot of the stuff that is championed is quite Canadian. I think Lavender Diamond and Jenny Lewis are Canadian, actually. And the music's can be very, very challenging. But what I've picked out for you today is a guy called Dan Snaith, who's also known as Caribou. He's got a PhD in maths.
Excellent.
He comes from Canada.
Good.
He's good mates with Fortet.
Right.
And he originates from Canada but now lives in London. And his new album Mandora is released on August the 21st. This track is called Melody Day, and I think it's a kind of beautiful, cut-up, kind of electronic celebration of 60s psychedelia.
Oh, let's hear it. I'm afraid we've got to cut it a little short if we want to taste what else Vic has brought in for us. He's like a kind of pie man, and I'm very much Simon on the way to the fair. A simpleton, but keen to be educated and give. I don't know where that analogy is going, but I was quite pleased I got that far. Internet guru Vic Sharma's with us, and he was just telling us about the Canadian-based online music community. What was it called again?
Paper Thin Walls. Paper
Thin Walls. People just go on there and they can just get involved.
Absolutely. Stream, download, vote, comment, and generally have a Raucasol music-based time.
Good.
Yes,
as far as one can on the internet.
Yeah.
And that track was Melody Day by Caribou.
Caribou, yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed it very much. So moving on from there to where?
I now want to introduce my second online resource to you, and that's criticalmetrics.com.
Oh, that's a bit highfalutin.
This is a real kind of this is a spod central kind of place. It's got so much statistics, but basically what it does is it takes information, copy and statistics from a range of sites, anything from iTunes to eMusic to all of the MP3 download places to blogs. What they do is they aggregate the most popular or talked about tracks. So you have the 500 most talked about tracks online.
Yeah.
Obviously the number one track at the moment is Justice. DANCE by Justice, and I thought that kind of been played a little too much. But one of the things that is certainly doing the rounds and is generating a lot of excitement on both sides of the pond, Steve, is
I'm always keen to know what's happening on either side of a pond.
It's Kanye West's recent mixtape. I don't know whether you've heard it. It's called Can't Tell Me Nothing.
Right.
You can actually download this legally from a website called mixtapepass.com. It's an excellent resource. It's got loads of kind of like mixes by people like 50 Cent, Kanye West, all the kind of, Eminem. A fantastic resource. But anyway, one of the tracks on there is called Us Places, and it's a new kind of hip-hop supergroup which is made up of Lupe Fiasco, Pharrell and Kanye West. And this is the first track that they've done together. It uses a sample from Tom York's Eraser album, and I think it's really interesting to note what kind of like Hollywood or LA kind of A-listers are doing while smoking chronic.
Allegedly, we don't know. They could have just been reading poetry. We don't know what they're doing.
But a really kind of like really sort of sad and moving and beautiful tune in which they've wrapped over their kind of lifestyle and their experience.
Let's hear it. So the outfit are CRS, and it features Pharrell and Lupe Fiasco and who's the
Kanye West, yeah.
And the track is US Places, which you may have heard elsewhere on other stations if you are hungry for such things, and if not, then hopefully we've introduced it to you in the way that we introduced the KLF to Sammy earlier. But we enjoyed it very much, and you say we can get this from where?
Well, you can download the whole mixtape, Can't Tell Me Nothing, from mixtapepass.com, but if you want to use it as a launching pad to kind of explore new music online, then I do recommend go to criticalmetrics.com. It's an absolute hive of info. Once you're there, you'll never leave.
And as you say, it is odd to think of the boys, just drinking the Courvoisier. Is that how you pronounce it? Courvoisier? And and just watching the lap dancers and throwing them dollar bills, but also just chilling to a little bit of...
you imagine them